Okay, test mic. Can you hear me?
Yes, doctor. Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Hello, doctor. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning to all of you. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma la sahla illa ma ja'altahu sahla wa anta taj'alul hazna idza shi'ta sahla. Okay, Assalamualaikum again. Alright. Okay, welcome to this research methodology class. Okay, I will cover on the research proposal presentation and thesis of Viva preparation. This lecture will take maybe around 1 hour maximum. Okay, 1 hour maximum. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 students. 11 students. 3, 4, 5,
Yes, doctor.
8, 9,
Hello.
10, 10 only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 only. 10, 10 only, yeah.
Maybe one student absent,
Okay,
not only.
okay, let's proceed. Okay, again, I will cover research proposal presentation because this is your first semester. I believe that all of you are in your first semester in your study. So the important thing that you have to know is the writing lah. Okay, the research proposal writing and presentation. And later on, after the last one is the thesis preparation or Viva preparation. So this is the presentation outline, my self-introduction for the beginning. Okay, so next one is introduction of the lecture. What is the research proposal? What is the step or procedure to prepare the thesis, tenses in proposal and thesis, proposal defense, and also Viva voice. Okay, a bit about myself. This is myself. My name is Muhammad Hanif Ramli. You can call me Hanif. I'm from Segamat Johor lah. My education back in 2008. I did my foundation in physics in Malaysia in local institution. Later on, I further my bachelor degree in UTM and I got it from UTM in 2012 in biomedical engineering program. So during my bachelor time, I did my attachment in Technical Institute of Ilmenau, Germany for 3 months in 2011. Then further study in doctorate degree in biomedical engineering and I obtained the PhD in 2015. So during the doctorate study, I did my attachment in Spain in Universidad Politécnica de Madrid in Spain from 2014 until 2015. So this is my working experience. After graduated from UTM, I joined industry almost 1 year. Okay, I joined industry at a Eurochess number hat as a sales coordinator. Okay, from 2015 until 2016. So later on, I got offer from University Kebangsaan Malaysia to do my postdoctorate research in 2016, and later I got an offer from UTN to become a senior lecturer from 2016 until now. And inshallah next month I will go again to the industry, okay, to do my industrial attachment at 3D Gens Nimbahat for 1 year. Okay, so this is a working experience. Okay, this is my expertise. I do a lot on biomechanics, biomaterials, rehabilitation engineering, and biomedical design. So I can see some of you. I can see my student there, Nick Nur Ain, and also Hanif. Hanif. Those are my student. Hanif doing master. Nick Nur Ain doing a PhD. Okay. I can see a new name for me like Kudri Anis. Kudri Anis. You are local student, right?
Yeah, I'm local student.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
local student.
You doing master or PhD?
PhD, Doctor.
PhD. Who is your supervisor?
Dr. Rania.
Oh, Dr. Rania. Okay, okay, great, great. So yeah, I know very well Encik Arif, Mr. Arif, Mr. Arif. Lam Yan Tung. Okay, Lam.
Doctor,
Okay. You doing master or PhD?
Master,
Master. Who is supervisor?
Dr. Rania.
Oh, okay, Dr. Rania. Okay,
Yeah.
right. Mujtaba.
Yes, doctor.
Okay, master or PhD?
PhD.
PhD. Who is your
Yeah.
supervisor?
Dr. Saiful.
Dr. Saiful.
Yes.
Meaning that you doing biomaterial lah, of course, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, great.
Thank you.
Okay, no Izzati also Dr. Saiful, right?
I don't know.
Yes, doctor.
Biomaterial juga lah ni.
Yes.
Okay. Right, Nurul Fatin Nadira, master or PhD?
Master, Doctor.
Master. Who is your supervisor?
Dr. Hadafi.
Oh, Dr. Hadafi. It is more to sport technology lah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you are graduan UTM ke apa? Oh, Twin eh?
Yeah.
From Twin program ke? I see. Okay, our graduate lah. Okay, Syed Umir.
Hi, doctor.
Hi, Syed. So you are doing PhD, right?
Yes,
Okay, who is your supervisor?
Dr. Amir.
Dr. Amir Asari.
Yes,
Okay, great. So the last one is Wang Jing. Wang Jing, are you here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So you are in China, right? Or in Malaysia? Wang Jing, I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you. Okay, never mind. All right. So let me continue. Okay, I teach several courses for the undergraduate student and also postgraduate student. So for the undergraduate, I teach introduction to biomedical engineering, static and dynamic, lab 2, CDIO lab, PBL lab, solid mechanic rehabilitation engineering, biomedical system design, and the last two is for the postgraduate student, which is biomechanics for the master degree, and also for the research methodology that I'm teaching you right now. Okay, so this is my teaching course. Okay, let's continue with the lecture. Okay, so this is the introduction. Okay, I believe that you are already aware about the flow of research because you already did final year project during your undergraduate studies. So again, I will do some revision. Okay, I will share some process. What is the flow of the research process, and this is the flow. Okay, so the first one is obtaining a research title and scope. So basically, the title and scope will be given by the supervisor. Okay, in some cases, like my student, they approach me, the interest on what topic, then we can discuss on the title and scope for the student. So normally, the title and scope is given by the supervisor. Okay, there are not much cases that student propose topic. Okay, there are some cases, but not too much. Okay, so from the research title, then you have to prepare the proposal, of course, based on the title given, based on the scope that you will do later on. Okay, you will do the proposal. Okay, so the proposal, you will state what is your purpose, what is your plan, what is your scope, what is your methodology, what is your expected results in the research proposal. Okay, and the next one, once the proposal defense already done, the panel already comment your plan, already give suggestion to you for conducting the experiment, then you will do experiment and data analysis later on. This one is lab work. Okay, in some cases, maybe student will do simulation. Okay, and after that, once already finished, the experiment is done, data analysis is done, then you have to prepare a thesis or dissertation. Okay, so you have to discuss the findings from your study, and you have to compare the findings with the other result from other scholars, okay, in your discussion section. And after you submit the thesis for the Viva voice, then you will have the Viva section, okay, to make sure that you are eligible to get master or PhD degree later on. Okay, this is a basic research process that I believe that you already aware about this. Okay, so level of research, let me introduce some level of research. So bachelor, we do have bachelor, we have master, we have PhD degree. So those level have different criteria, different requirement, different scope. Okay. Okay, for the bachelor, you already aware about this. This is the learning process. You doing final year project for your bachelor degree. This is only basic thing that you learn to do research. Okay, it is a learning process in conducting a simple research analysis with correct methodology. Okay, it's very simple. The scope is very small, not really much like a master and PhD. Okay, this is the level of bachelor. Once you have the bachelor, you go forward to the master level. Okay, it is very intensive. Okay, solving a problem using more advanced methodology. Okay, more advanced methodology. As compared with the bachelor is basic one. Maybe you do some comparison analysis, comparison study. Okay, maybe. Okay, but master, maybe you have to solve the problem using advanced methodology. Okay, and of course the advanced one is for PhD lah. Okay, philosophy of doctorate. Okay, so you will conduct many analysis with advanced methodology, and somehow, okay, you have to propose a new thing. Okay, the new thing maybe can be a method, device, material, policy, and technique. Okay, it depends on your scope. Okay, for some cases, maybe the student only proposing a method. Okay, a method for some biomaterial student. Maybe the student will propose new material. Okay, like Izati. Okay, you will propose new material, for example. Okay, like biomaterial, like that. For biomechanics, maybe the student will propose new device. Okay, new configuration, for example. Okay, and it is depend on the field. Okay, maybe artificial intelligence will proposing a new method to discover, or maybe to detect some cancer cell, for example. A new method to detect cancer cell, for example. Okay, so this is the differences between bachelor, master, and PhD level of study. Okay, so this is the second item, which is a research proposal. Okay, what is a research proposal actually? So research proposal is the thing that you plan for your research study. Okay, you propose something, you propose a method, you propose a new device, for example. Okay, you find out what is the problem from the existing literature, what kind of problem that not yet discovered by others, what kind of method, what kind of analysis not yet done by others. So this is your proposal. So the idea coming from the literature, of course. Okay, the first thing, the idea coming from the literature, which is you have to identify what you want to do in your research. Okay, basically we call it a research gap lah. Okay, research gap. So the element that you will do is actually not yet done by others. Okay, the idea, for example, you want to develop in terms of biomaterial, you want to develop a material that not existing yet in the world. Okay, that not yet existing yet in the world. So this is the idea, and then from the idea, okay, you have to determine the scope, what kind of material you want to do, when you want to research, what kind of equipment that you want to use for the analysis. Okay, what kind of subject that you will get from the research. Okay, and of course objective is another one, which is from the idea, uh, you have to develop objective. So basically for master and PhD, normally we will ask student to provide at least two objective, at least. Normally for PhD three lah, three and more. Master maybe two and more, two and three, or maybe more. Okay, it is depend on the scope and the supervisor. Okay, and then the research proposal should be written very wisely. Okay, you have to follow the UTM template, for example. So normally I will ask my student, okay, like Ain and Hanif, to follow UTM template, because later on your proposal will be converted into a thesis, okay, into a thesis. So in the beginning, you should follow the UTM template, okay, to avoid many errors, for example, many jobs for editing and writing later on. Okay, and of course literature. Okay, you have to include as many as possible. Okay, regarding and related to your research. If you are doing artificial intelligence research, then you have to put the current method, to do the artificial intelligence. Okay, if you are doing biomechanics, you have to put, for example, the current method to do biomechanic research, biomechanic analysis, for example. Okay, and also as I mentioned to you, is a plan. Okay, you have to plan properly. Okay, there is one quote from a scholar. Uh, there is one quote from a scholar. Okay, the quote is like this. Okay, if you fail to plan, meaning that you plan to fail. Okay, so meaning that you have to plan wisely lah. Okay, if no plan, then you plan to fail. Okay, so plan is very important in your research. Okay, in general, a research proposal is written, workable, well planned ideas in a specific scope to achieve targeted object. Okay, that's why we put the objective in the first chapter, and then the proposal will be based on the objective that you set earlier. Okay, the methodology is based on the objective that you set earlier. Okay, and the scope also will be based on the objective that you set earlier. Okay, this is the differences between master, PhD, and bachelor proposal. Okay, so bachelor, the title, this is number one. Okay, we do have title, simple problem statement, objective, scope, significant, literature, material and methodology, expected result, and conclusion. Okay, so same goes to master and PhD actually, but in different way lah, of course. Okay, but more intensive and deeper. Master and PhD more intensive and deeper. So there are some questions that you have to put in your research proposal, or maybe you have to discuss in your proposal. For example, how relevant is your study to community? Okay, is it necessary? Is it your study is necessary to be conducted? Is it your study will give impactful result to the community? Okay, for example, that one can be discussed in the significance of study in chapter 1. Okay, and number two, what is the specific suitable method and procedure to run the analysis? Okay, bachelor normally it depend on the supervisor. Mostly will be depend on the supervisor. But master and PhD, you have to think by yourself. You have to think what is the specific, what is the suitable method, not 100% depending on the supervisor. So supervisor is only supervise, monitor. You do what today? You do what for the next weeks, for example. The main responsible is you. Okay, you have to determine what is the specific and suitable method for your study. Okay, and if you are doing sample, for example, you are doing in vitro analysis, which is you will use some in vitro sample like synthetic bone, for example, okay, like synthetic bone, okay, you have to determine how many samples, okay, to be used in your study. Okay, there is no specific value, there is no specific number of sample, but you have to justify. Let's say you are choosing, let's say you are using 5 samples, okay, then you have to justify why 5, okay, why only 5, why not 10, why not 11, why not 20, and so on. Okay, so you have to make sure that you justify how many sample that you use. And benefit again, okay, it is the benefit to society is your research is very good for the future development. For example, okay, is your research is something new, okay, to the community, to the scholar, okay, you have to think about it. You have to think about it. And of course, master PhD required papers. Okay, so UTM give some guidelines, some requirement to student. So for the master student at the moment, you have to publish at least one Scopus paper. Then you are eligible to sit for Viva. Otherwise, you cannot sit for the Viva. You cannot graduate. That one is for master. But for PhD, okay, you have to publish at least 2 papers. Okay, this is the requirement by UTM. Okay, by University Technology Malaysia. So how many papers? So master and PhD normally we create a paper lah. Of course, we want to share the knowledge to everyone to make sure that our research is acceptable by the others, by the other scholar, by the expert from the world. Okay, so it is a contribution to the knowledge. Okay, so this is the proposal level. Okay, bachelor, it is not necessary to publish. Okay, but master and PhD, you need to publish. That's why your supervisor always asking you to prepare a manuscript. Okay, same goes to me. I will ask my student to prepare manuscript not only for the KPI of the university, but also for your study. Okay, for your study, it is a requirement. It is a compulsory. Okay. Okay, this is the content in the research proposal. Okay, in our school practice, biomedical engineering and health sciences, there is no template for research proposal. Okay, I believe that some school, some faculty have their own template, but our school at the moment there is no specific template. Okay, so in my case, I asked my student to use UTM template, UTM thesis template, okay, to prepare research proposal. Okay, you can get it from the internet. Maybe I can share you the link later on after this section. Okay, the link that you can download the UTM thesis template. Okay, you can use the template to prepare your proposal. Okay. Okay, this is the important content that you have to include in your research proposal. The first one, of course, title lah. It should be concise and relevant within the scope, the content. Okay. And the second one is the chapter 1, okay, which is introduction of the proposal. You have to write about the background of study. Okay, what kind of study that you want to do. Okay, I will go through very detailed after this. Okay, problem statement, the problem that existing in the literature, okay, and not yet solved by others. Okay, and then from the problem you create the objective. Okay, you create the objective to solve the problem. Okay, to give some overview and also to give some result to overcome the problem. Okay, and then the scope of study, of course, what kind of material that you will use, what kind of sample that you will use, what kind of equipment, okay, and then maybe some standard that you will use to analyze the sample, for example, okay, and the significant, the benefit of your study to the society, to the community, to the industry, to the new knowledge, okay, what kind of benefit, Okay, you have to state it in your chapter 1. Okay, move forward to chapter 2, literature review. Okay, it is very subjective. There is no guideline, meaning that you have you are free to determine what kind of literature that can be included in your chapter 2. Okay, for example, maybe in my case, biomechanics and biomaterial, we will use we used to include anatomy of bone and tissue, for example. This is very basic. Another example is previous study. Okay, what kind of analysis that have been done by the previous study. Okay, and then chapter 3. Okay, you have to mention all the method that can be done in the future for your study. Okay, for example, data collection. Okay, if you are dealing with the patient, maybe you will collect the data from the patient. Okay, and of course, if you are dealing with a patient, okay, you have to make sure that you obtain the ethical approval. Okay, I believe that there are some lecturer already cover the ethical things in this research methodology class. Okay, and I believe that your supervisor also remind you to get ethical approval if you are dealing with patients, or volunteers or animals. Okay, anything related to living organism. Okay, you have to have ethical approval. And in my case, we normally use city data, and then city data is actually getting from the hospital. Then we do have the ethical approval, okay, to scan the patient, okay, to get the consent from the patient to use their data. Okay, so this is the ethical approval. So from the city data, in my case, we will develop the model, okay, and also final element analysis. And this is depend on your scope. Okay, you are doing material, you have to discuss on how to develop the material. If you are doing the analysis, let's say SEM, EDX, okay, FASM, you have to discuss, you have to put all information on how to use the equipment, on how to use, on how to maybe measure, do the measurement and so on. Okay. Okay, move to next chapter, which is chapter 4, result and discussion. At the beginning, for the research proposal, of course, there is no results. Okay, there is no result yet. Maybe some students have a preliminary results. Then you can put it in your result and discussion. But normally, we call it expected results. Okay, expected result. What you expect from your study. So, but for master and PhD, normally you have the preliminary result. Because normally for the proposal defense, you will defend your proposal in semester 2. Okay, then you will have some results from semester 1 to be included in your proposal. Okay, you can put some results, and also you can put the expected result, as I said just now. Okay, what you expect from this study. Maybe you expect that this for example, new method, okay, will give easiest way, we easy give easiest way to patient, for example, to doctors, to do some monitoring system, to do some monitoring process, okay, for example. And of course, the conclusion and references. Okay, so this is the details one. Okay, chapter 1, introduction. The component that you have to include in your chapter 1 is as shown in the slide. Okay, so background study, problem statement, research objective, scope and significance of study. So this is the background study. This is example from my student actually, okay, from my PhD student. So in this background of study, you have to explain some data, for example, from the previous work that related to your study. Okay, so you have to put some words like this. Okay, it has been estimated about 2 million cases of ACL, meaning that the cases is still happening in the clinical industry, in the hospital, in the clinics, okay, in the medical institution around the world. Okay, So you have to explain about this. Okay, for example. Okay, and also maybe in your background of study you have to explain similar study from previous published report. Okay, this one that I show you is the example for the biomechanics. Okay, there are many previous study that have been conducted investigating on flutter pressure of badminton player during jumping into off and touchdown phase. Okay, okay. So you have to explain not 100% same with your study, but it is similar. Okay, to mention that to highlight that your study is relevant. Okay, not short sendiri lah. Not short sendiri, meaning that you are only a silo doing research. You are the only one that only focusing on that subject. No. So if you mention like this, meaning that your study is still relevant to the literature. Okay, and then okay, this is the question that you can you can discuss in your chapter 1 under background of study. Why you need to conduct such study. Okay, maybe in the last sentence in your background of study, you can put like this. Okay, therefore, a simulation, for example, by using finite element analysis will be carried out in this study to obtain the mentioned local parameter and blah, 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 so on. Okay, and mention a bit about your research is to solve something. Okay, because this is a background of your study. So you have to mention a bit about your research, a bit, only a little. Okay, not much. Okay, so move forward to the problem statement. Okay, so you have to identify the current problem that have been faced by many researchers using in worldwide. Okay, you have to identify the current problem. Okay, the problem may be not yet solved by other researcher. Maybe yes, but not documented. Maybe not published yet. So we based on the publication. Okay, if no publication on that, meaning that there is no person that dealing with that research, that dealing with the research problem. Okay, so this is a example of the problem. Okay, so my student mentioned that another case associated with case of bio, the main problem is the existing design in the literature result in pain. This is the problem. Okay, the problem result in pain. This device gives some problem. Okay, after 12 months of operation was reported. Okay, is the problem that happen in clinical field. Okay, you have to mention the problem. Okay, another way is you can put at least 3 problems. So for my student, I always ask my student to put at least 3 problems that you want to tackle. Okay, maybe the first problem in terms of device itself. Okay, what is the problem that happen on that device? Is it failure? Is it success? Okay, is it some infection happen to the patient, for example? So that is the kind of problem that can be included in your problem statement. Okay, another problem in maybe in terms of the method that not yet used by other scholar to determine or to to get the results. Okay, this is also a problem that you can include. Okay, okay. So again, at least 3 problems, and each problem I suggest to my student. Okay, you have to put it in a single paragraph. So one paragraph discuss about one problem. Okay, let's say the previous one is the problem on the existing device. Okay, so you have to put the problem on the existing device and then you have to discuss the problem itself. Okay, so what kind of solution, for example, what kind of important information that you want to discuss, for example, there is need for improvement to minimize risk of complication, for example. Okay, so yes, if 3 problem means you need to have at least 3 paragraph lah. Okay, There is only a suggestion. Okay, it is very subjective. Okay, but it is the way that I do it. I do it for my student and also myself during my PhD study. Okay, and the simple process is shown. Okay, you have to explain the problem. Okay, number one. Number two, you quote or replace wording from literature with references. Okay, no, please don't forget to put the reference. Okay, to make sure that the problem is coming from the literature. Okay, we have evidence, we have proof to mention the problem, and somehow you have to state on how to solve the problem. Maybe you can propose a new study is needed, okay, to overcome this problem, for example. Okay, okay. Once you have the problem statement, then you can create the objective. Okay, and the objective should be in line with the problem, of course. Okay, for example, you have to make a point form like in the slide. Okay, make it a point form. No need to write in paragraph. Okay, there is no sorry, should be in point form lah, of course. No need to write in paragraph. Okay, the number one, number two, and number three. Okay, and of course the PhD student should emphasis on the novelty. Okay, normally happen in the third objective. Okay, so PhD student, you have to propose new thing, new method, new design, new policy, new anything new. Okay, and the new thing is not maybe is not will not be applied by industry later on. Okay, maybe it will be documented as your thesis only. Okay, so not to worry about it. You're just proposing a new thing. Okay, maybe your novelty is not very good for the industry. Okay, but in the PhD case, you have the novelty itself. Okay, so okay, again, objective, and you have to start with the word to lah, to. Okay, and follow with the action verb. Okay, there are many action verb available from the Google, and this is the only example that I can show you. Okay, for example, to determine what, to find out, to verify, to perform, to carry out, to compare, okay, to prepare, to synthesis. Okay, normally synthesis is for the biomaterial, tissue engineering field. Okay, to produce, to manufacture, to screen, to monitor, to investigate. Okay, to investigate the effect of what. Okay, to explore, to study, to identify. Okay. Okay, so how to develop objective? So this is the way. This is the way. This is the way that normally I show to my student. Okay, so you have, maybe you have to use this SMART criteria. Okay, SMART. So S stand for specific. The objective is very specific ones. Okay, simple and significant. So let's say you are developing a biomaterial. Okay, you maybe you can specific like to develop to synthesis. Okay, a polyurethane material for the tissue engineering application, for example. Okay, number two is measurable. Your objective should be able to be measured. Okay, measure in terms of what? Maybe in terms of results. Okay, it can be comparable. Okay, it can be comparable. Okay, and also it is meaningful and manageable. Okay, number three is attainable, should be appropriate, should can be achievable, can be aligned, and also action oriented. Okay, action oriented. Number four is relevant. Okay, realistic. Make sure that your objective is realistic. You cannot put to develop a human. That one is not realistic. Okay, to develop a human, to develop an animal, no, that one is not realistic. So result oriented and resource. Okay, and the last one is time bound. okay, should be time oriented and tangible. Okay, should be tangible as well. Okay, scope of study. Okay, the next one is scope of study. Only one paragraph. Normally, I ask my student to provide only one paragraph. Okay, answering what, when, and how. Okay, so this is the question: what, when, and how. What you do? Okay, you do what? Biomaterial on the development of the medical device, for example, how you do. Okay, it is some brief about your methodology actually. Okay, only brief. Okay, what, how you synthesis. Okay, how you develop the 3D model, how you set up the database, for example, and when is the sequence. Okay, the first step, what you have to do. Okay, maybe you synthesis the material, you collect the data from 20%. Okay, you mention number of person here, number of sample in your scope. Okay, and then what kind of equipment that you will use for the study, what kind of method, maybe you are using design or experiment in your method. What kind of design of experiment in your method you have to put in your scope of study. Okay, all right. So and the last one for the chapter 1 is about the significance of study. Okay, the significant or the important thing from your study, okay, to the world, to the community, to the environment, to the new knowledge. Okay, you have to put the benefit of your study. Why your study is very crucial. Why, what kind of benefit that can give to everyone. Okay, this is the significant. We are not doing a research if the outcome are not important. Yes, of course, we be wasting time. Okay, we are doing research that we give benefit to others. Okay, so the sentence that you can refer in the slide is like this. Okay, you can mention this study is prominently significant to provide informational data on mechanical properties of different configuration of graft facet as references for both orthopedic surgeons. So in this sentence, the student said that this study is very useful for medical doctor, okay, and researcher to maybe to develop, to use, okay, the device later on, for example, okay, to justify the choices of medical surgeon to treat the patient, for example. Okay, so far so good. Any question for the chapter 1? Any question, guys? If no, if no question, can I proceed?
Doctor, I have a question.
Okay, please.
Doctor, for significance of study, how many significance we need to provide for
Okay.
the research?
Okay, great. Okay, great question. Okay, this one is very subjective. Okay, it is very subjective. There is no specific number of significance that you can put. It is depend on you. Okay, it is depend on you. You can put as much as possible. Okay, you can put as much as possible. There is no specific numbers. Very subjective. Okay, and make sure that significant is relevant, is realistic. Okay, is very realistic to the scholar. Okay, siapa tadi? Ain eh?
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Doctor.
Okay, if no question more, I proceed to the chapter 2. Okay, so I believe you already aware about the literature review. Okay, you have some experience in doing your final year project in your bachelor degree. So this is the only thing that I can brief to you about the literature review. So what is a literature review? It is your review, your comment, your thought that coming from your reading, your understanding on what you have read. Okay, so make sure your sentences in your chapter 2 not copy and paste. Okay, you have to somehow replace back. Okay, maybe some critical words cannot be replaced, some critical sentences cannot be replaced. Okay, yeah, please make sure that the plagiarism is not happen in your writing. Okay, so for this chapter you have to review the papers, the book, for example. Okay, the book, maybe you are doing device, you have to study the existing device from the manufacturer, for example. Okay, and then you review, you give some comment on the device, on the existing literature, you give some talk based on your understanding what is the lacking, what is the differences between two this study, for example. Okay, and the word should be from you, from yourself. Okay, the sentences should be from yourself. Okay, you cannot copy 100% from the literature and paste it in your proposal. Cannot. That one cannot. Okay, it's not allowed. Okay, so the flow is below. Huh? You search the literature. Okay, you search for the literature. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Okay, you search for literature. Okay, from papers, books, etc. Okay, maybe standard. Okay, so for the mechanical testing, for example, you have to refer a standard lah to test the sample. Okay, to test the sample. You have to search for it. Okay, you have to search for it. And read, understand. The second one, read and understand the papers, the book. Okay, and capture important information. Okay, like a number of sample. Okay, method. Okay, standard that you will use for your study, and of course the last thing is write it in your own words. Okay, so this is an example, only example. I get it from my student. Okay, so the literature review, because the student are dealing with the knee joint. Okay, the student is reporting about the knee anatomy first. Okay, maybe the reader from the external reviewer, for example, from the external panel for the Viva, not really know about knee joint. Okay, because I have some cases where the external examiner is from the mechanical pure, but the student is from the biomedical. Okay, the external examiner will not know very well about the knee joint, so we have to include the information, such information, to make sure that the external reviewer understand the content that you want to deliver. Okay, the knee joint, for example. Okay, and then the student put the classification of SEL. Okay, this is not this is important actually as well, important, because we are not from the clinical part. We are engineer, mostly are engineer lah, bachelor degree from engineering base. Okay, so we have to include this information, okay, in the proposal. And of course, some information about the treatment. Okay, and devices. Okay, previous research that related to the devices, for example, this is the thing that you can get the research gap. Research gap. Okay, you study the previous research, you read through all the papers. Okay, you can see what is the thing that you can tackle that not yet discovered, that not yet tackled by others. Okay, so from here, from previous research, you will get the research gap. Okay, and of course, from the reading, you have to put it in your proposal. And also some important element is that the methodology. What kind of methodology that normally used by scholar from the previous papers. Okay, from the previous papers. Okay. Okay, this is only example. The rest is depend on you and the discussion with your supervisor, and also during the proposal defense. Okay. Okay. So chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3. It is about methodology. Okay. And the important element that you have to include is the first one, of course, flow chart. Okay, you have to have flowchart starting from start, the decision making, for example, the processing making, okay, and also until the end, okay, flowchart. And number two, of course, the Gantt chart, the plan from week or month one until the end. Okay, you have to identify this month you will do what. Next month, what is your plan? Next semester, what is your plan? This is Gantt chart. Okay, so I will show you the example later on. Okay, and you have to list down the material that you will use. Okay, so this normally for the biomaterial lah. Okay, and you have to list down, you have to mention the equipment name, okay, for the analysis, for example. Okay, and specific method, okay, synthesis, data collection, okay, development process, okay, and so on. Okay, so this is an example of flow chart. Okay, start with this circle, okay, and then you have some action to be done for your research. Okay, in this case is about biomaterial, biomechanics. Okay, so modeling, 3D modeling, okay, development of 3D bones, for example. Okay, validation, because simulation normally we do have a validation. Of course, some cases you have to validate your results. Okay, make sure that to make sure that your result is accurate enough to be presented in the papers, in the Viva, and so on. And decision making, okay, decision making, is it your method is correct? Is it the method is enough for the next flow? If no, then you have to repeat again, okay, until you get the desired decision, okay. And then normally I will ask my student to highlight the objective in the flow chart. Okay, I will ask my student to highlight the objective. So the first objective, maybe we are covering this flow. Okay, is it in line with the objective that we set earlier? So if yes, then the flow can go forward, can go next one, which is the second objective. And the next flow is to tackle the second objective. Okay, so what kind of second objective that you want to tackle is based on this flow. Okay, and then the next one is third objective lah. Okay, all right, and you have to mention all the information, all the method to tackle to solve the third objective. And the last one is, of course, finish. This is the example flow chart. Okay, and please make sure that you understand the differences about the flow chart and also the what they call it, normal flow. What they call it? It is not a flow. It's another term. Okay, it's another term. I forgot to mention. I forgot already. Never mind. I will say if I remember. Okay. So this is an example of Gantt chart. Okay. This is an example of Gantt chart. You have to put year. You have to put year. Okay. And then you have to put specific month like this. Because in the end of the day, the panel will check. Okay. Is it relevant or not? Is it the time is enough for the method or not? Okay. Okay, for example, you make it specific work or action that you want to do in your study until presentation. Okay, so you plan yourself. So of course, literature review is for the whole studies. Okay, from day one until last day. Okay, and you have to put the timeline for the each component. What is the timeline? Okay, what is the timeline? This is the thing that you can discuss with your supervisor. And in some cases, the panel will ask you about the publication. Okay, so you can put some publication element there in your gun check, because normally panel will ask about the publication because it is required by the UTM. Okay, you can put it in which month you want to get published, to get submitted, for example. Okay, to get submitted. And conference. Okay, maybe you are planning to go conference. Okay, you have to put it as well. Okay, and then this is writing and presentation, of course. Okay, so chapter 4, it is about the expected results. Okay, so in the beginning, in the proposal defense, maybe you not have yet the results, maybe, but some cases student have the preliminary result. You can put it. No, a little. If the result is a little, then you can put as well. Never mind. This is not a big issue. Okay. So for the expected results, the thing that you have to include is the expectation from this study and your hypothesis, of course. Okay. So if you are comparing two different design, for example, what you expect from the first design and the second design. So let's say you are evaluating the stress, for example, for the first and second design. You're expecting that the first design giving you the high stress, okay, the high stress, rather than the second design. Okay, you can explain like that. But from the explanation, you have to justify why you expect the first design give high stress based on the theory, for example, based on the previous literature, for example. This is your expectation. Okay, and your expectation maybe not same with your result later on. Okay, maybe your expectation is wrong. Maybe your hypothesis is wrong. Never mind. Just put it what you expect. Okay, later on you can prove it based on your results. Okay, so this is a simple statement in your proposal that you can include. Okay, you can include. Okay, let me take the attendance because I only taking from the WebEx. Okay, okay, I take the attendance first. All right, this is the simple sentence. Okay, you can say like this. It is expected that this study can provide a valuable biomechanical information. This is normal one, very general. Okay, very general. And normally for the normally for my student, even though the student doing FYP, so I suggest them to simplify the expected result like this way. Okay, you have to put the table, you have to create a table like this, and maybe you can put uh the the number of column here, there. Okay, for example, okay, for example, in terms of stability lah. Okay, you are comparing two design, for example, design 1 and design 2. Okay, you can put like this, high, 2. Okay, so this is your expectation. Okay, your sorry, your brief on the expectation, your conclusion on your expectation results. You can put like this. Okay, if you have 3 design, for example, you can put 3 column like this. Okay, this one may be medium. Okay, and based on this table, you have to explain lah why you expect the first design is high. Okay, based on the theory, for example, theory, previous study, and so on. Okay, this is the way that normally I ask my student to do. Okay, you expect what? Okay, this is the content in the research proposal. So far, any question before I proceed to the next one? No question? Okay, if no question, let's proceed. Okay, so proposal defense, proposal proposal is done. Now we are entering the preparation of thesis. Okay. So let me brief about the thesis. You are already aware about this, but I will brief a little bit. Okay, what is the thesis dissertation? It is a written work resulting from original research, especially one submitted for a higher degree in a university. Okay, this is a definition from Collins. Okay, and two important elements in your thesis. Okay, the first one is a worthwhile problem or question which has not been previously answered. As I mentioned to you, the problem is not yet discovered, is not yet solved by previous scholar. Okay, but have been identified in your thesis. So your thesis is very novel, which is very new, very significant to the scholar. Okay, and also contribution to the new knowledge lah. Okay, it is new. Normally for the publication, you will publish a new knowledge. Okay, not the existing one. Okay, if you have the publication, meaning that your research is very knowledgeable, very good for the knowledge. Okay, especially if you publish in Q1 and Q2. Okay, because Q1 and Q2, it is difficult to get published. Not really difficult. There are some trick and tips. Okay, you can learn later on. Okay, if the panel see that you already published 5 papers in Q1, no doubt at all, meaning that your research is very important, very good for contributing to the knowledge. Okay, right. So element that examiner looking for, okay, for the thesis. Okay, and of course the examiner will read your thesis only. Okay, they only read your thesis, not monitoring your experiment, okay, your lab work, okay, and so on. The examiner only look at your thesis. Okay, not all works that you have been done to find answer for the following question. For example, what is the student research question? They will ask you, what is the research question from your study? Okay, the second, maybe, is it a good question? Have been answered before? This is normal way lah. The panel will ask. Okay, have been answered before, have been discovered before. Okay, did the student convince the examiner with good answer? Okay, so normally the examiner will know very well your field. Okay, the UTM will will nominate the expert that same field with you, same field with the supervisor as well. Okay, they will ask the answer from you. Is it convinced enough to get a master or PhD? Okay. Number 4, did the student follow right procedure to do research? Yes, of course. Okay. The examiner will look at very carefully on the method that the student do. Okay, make sure that you follow right procedure. If you are required to have ethical approval, then go for it. Go ahead. Don't skip. You have to get it. Okay. Number 5, did the student have strong fundamental knowledge? Yes, of course. They will ask some basic question about the equation, for example, about the theory. Okay. In my case, during my study, my PhD study, okay, during the Viva section, the internal examiner asked me to write equation in front of them on the whiteboard. Okay. So I have to write the equation and I have to explain to the panel on the spot. Okay, so I have to know the fundamental. So not only me, you have to know the fundamental to get prepared. Okay, and number 6, did the student analyze findings correctly? So analysis is one way. Okay, did you analyze the finding in the correct manner, in the correct procedure, or not? Or maybe you just get the result and put it in your thesis? No way. So you have to make sure that you are in a manner way to analyze the findings. And the last one, has the student made contribution? Yes. The panel, the examiner will ask the contribution. How many papers that you have published? In which journal? What Q? Q1, Q2, Q3, or only Scopus? If no Scopus, then yeah, you can imagine like that. Okay. Okay, this is the supervisor expectation. Okay, first draft by chapter. Normally, the student will send the draft to the supervisor for the checking purpose. Okay, so the supervisor will give some comment, and you have to do some revision based on the comment, and you have to give the final draft to the supervisor, and then do some proofreading. Okay, you can send the thesis to the proofreading services later on, and once you already get the feedback from the services, you have to submit to the school for the Viva section. Okay, so this is the content in thesis. UTM actually allow you to choose either one. Okay, UTM allow you to choose either one. Okay, so we do have two different method. The first one is the conventional, okay, where you make it like I show you in the previous slide. Chapter 1, introduction, literature review, methodology, result discussion, conclusion, references. Okay, so you can combine chapter 4 and chapter 5 later on. Okay, it is depend on the results and also supervisor. And another way, is on the publication. So you can prepare the thesis based on your publication. Okay, introduction, the first chapter, introduction, thesis overview, the review, and the next chapter is regarding your publication. If you have 3 articles, then you can put 3 chapters in your thesis. And this is also subjective. Okay, for me, my opinion, I don't like to have this one. Okay, I don't like to have this one, honestly. So normally for my case, for my student, I always ask them to use the conventional way to prepare the thesis. Okay, because article 1 and article 2, maybe the methodology is same. Okay, maybe 1, 2, and 3, the method is same. You synthesis the sample, you use the same volunteer patient, the method is same. That's why I don't like this type of thesis. Okay, and of course it depends on you and your supervisor lah. Okay. Okay, guideline for the thesis. Okay, can be downloaded from here. Okay, you can get the UTM thesis template from e-learning later on. I will upload the UTM thesis template in e-learning. You can get it from there. Okay. Okay, before I end the class and the sharing, so this is my suggestion. You have to start writing when you are still in semester 1. Okay, you cannot finish your thesis within 1 month, within 3 months. Cannot. You have to start right now. Okay, when you get the idea during the reading, during the reviewing the article, okay, write it on the spot. Okay, you read, you write. Okay, one paper, maybe you read 5 paper a day, you write at least 1 sentence from 1 paper. Okay, make it a point form, maybe in the beginning. Later you can modify the sentences when you have much time. Okay, but you have to write right now. Okay, and number 3, spend at least 5 minutes a day to write a sentence for your thesis. Do it every day. Okay, your final thesis may be contain more than 100 pages, so you cannot finish it in 3 months. You cannot. You have to start now. And number 4, remember your to become the thesis. Okay, so write proposal carefully. Okay, write the proposal carefully. Okay, tense in proposal thesis is the I think you are already good in this way, in this tense. Let me skip this one. Okay, this is the proposal defense. Requirement to sit proposal defense, you have to attend the research methodology course. And then number two, you have to attend the general course. Okay, then you can sit for the proposal defense. Okay, PD in which semester? Normally for the master, semester 2. Okay, PhD semester 2 or 3. Okay, you can no you have to plan wisely lah for the PD proposal defense. Master semester 2, PhD semester 2 or 3. Okay, and this is the flow prior to the proposal defense. Send draft to SB, do revision, completed proposal. SB will fill up form to nominate examiner, normally internal or examiner only, either from faculty or school. Okay, proposal and form submit to school and call proposal. Okay, so what are normally happen in PD presentation with maximum 15 until 25 minutes, depend on the chair. Okay, chair we explain the rules before it begin. Okay, Q&A is around 30 until 45 minutes. Okay, number 3, examiner will look deeper on the submitted proposal, but during the defense, they may not go deep on your slide. So meaning that you have to prepare your proposal very good. Okay, make sure that your proposal is good. Okay, number 4, a normal question from examiner, fundamental issue. Okay, yes, fundamental issue, the theory, okay, the equation that you will use. Okay, problem statement, how you can meet the objective, etc. Number 5, if you don't have you don't know to answer, just eliminate. Don't try to go in, don't try to fool the examiner. Don't try to give wrong answer to examiner, because examiner is very expert in your field. Okay. Number 6, PD is a platform to get recommendation from examiner who are expert in your research field. Okay. Good examiner will suggest something, not to make you feel. Okay. So examiner always helping student. No need to worry too much. Okay. Good examiner will help student. Okay. Okay, the flow for the Viva. Okay, you have to fill up notification form in GSMS. FB will approve and nominate examiner. There are 3 nomination for both internal and external. Okay, the examiner, the supervisor will give 3 names for internal and 3 names for the examiner, for the external examiner. Okay, and you have to send draft to SB for the thesis, revision, complete thesis. Thesis form submit to school, and the school will call for Viva. Okay, normally 2 months after you submit the thesis. Okay, what are normally happen in Viva? Yes, presentation with maximum 15 until 25 minutes, depend on chair, of course. Q&A, okay, make up to 8 hours. There are some cases, biomedical student, okay, experience more than 8 hours during the Viva session. Okay, from the morning until night. This is real, guys. This is real. Because the examiner very not I just want to say that examiner want to help the student actually to make sure that the thesis is very good way. Okay, don't surprise with it. Okay, number 3, examiner will look deeper on the submitted thesis. They will ask many questions during Q&A session. For PhD, more fundamental theory will be asked. Yes, like I said to you, during my case, the internal examiner asked me to explain about the equation that I use in the study. Okay, so I have to explain in front, write the equation on the board, and explain one by one. Okay, so this is the experience that I can share. Number 4, normal question from examiner, fundamental issue, problem statement. Okay, same goes to proposal defense. Number 5, if you don't know the answer, just eliminate. Okay. Number 6, Viva is a platform to test your orally either you are eligible to get master or PhD degree. Okay, so make sure that you are very prepared. Okay, to have the Viva section. Okay. Oh, sorry. This one should be, sorry, yeah. Due date should be not this. Should be 31st. May. Okay. So this is your assignment. Prepare a concise and detail of Gantt chart, submit through e-learning. Okay, I will create a submission link. So you have to submit before 31st May 2021. Okay, a very simple assignment. Okay, and of course the Gantt chart will be useful for your proposal writing later on. Okay, so that's it from me. Wish you all the best for your study and good luck. Okay, thank you so very much. Any question, guys? Any question?
Doctor, may I ask the assignment we need to submit into e-learning, is it?
Yes, correct. Submit through
Okay.
e-learning.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Any
Hi.
more?
Yeah, hi, Doctor. I'm Mohammed Said.
Okay.
I have a
Proceed.
question.
Yes.
I have a question that is it the thesis and the the publishing material? It should be same or related or what you suggest?
Okay. So to avoid plagiarism, make sure that your papers and your thesis is not 100% same. So you can replace the sentences. Okay. And normally for the publication, in terms of figures and table, you can make it more interactive and not really same as your thesis.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
got it.
So if you join my my talk with the PGSS society last time, so
Yes, I have
actually,
joined.
okay, great. So actually from your thesis you can publish a lot. Okay, you can publish maybe 3 Q1 Q2 papers. You can publish more than 5 scopus paper. Okay. Publication is important not only to you, to every one of us lah, because the publication will show to us the acceptable from reviewer around the world, because the reviewer is not from the same country. The reviewer may be professor from the Cambridge University, for example, from the Oxford University, from the top university in the world. So if they accept our work, then it means that our study is very relevant to the knowledge.
Okay. And again, one question that the publication take a long time sometime and it cost more. Is there any website where we can find a cheaper way and less time?
Okay, great. So normally UTM will reveal some list of journal with some
Okay.
information about the journal. For example, the fees, okay, the indexing scopus or Q1, Q2. Okay, so maybe you can ask from the supervisor as well. So maybe I can share you to you in e-learning.
Yes, I like. I like if you share.
Okay,
Much
I can
appreciated.
ask. I can share the information, the Excel file actually.
Thanks very much. Great.
Okay. Any more question? No more question? Okay, let me give some information about the proposal defense. Normally, the supervisor or school will nominate 3 names. Okay, so it depends on school to select two. And for the Viva, the supervisor will nominate 3 for the internal and 3 for the external, and the school and the faculty will select 1 only. Will select 1 internal and select 1 external. Okay, so in the Viva section you have 2 examiner lah, 1 internal, 1 external. for the proposal defense, you have at least 2 examiners. Okay. For normal track, for fast track, it is different. Like Izati and Ain, fast track program, as I know, for the proposal defense, you will have 3 examiners. Okay, you will have 3 examiners. Okay. Okay. If no question, I think that's all for today. Okay, thank you so very much for attending. So the attendant already recorded. I just screenshot the attendant list, participant list from the WebEx. Okay, no need to fill out any form. Okay, thank you so very much. I hope you are doing well with your research.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, I end the meeting right now. So see you again next time. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.
Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon.
Okay, Doctor. Waalaikumsalam. See you soon.